If you've got a pension, what should you do? Not everybody has the cream de la cream. I don't know why I just said that, but the pension, it's something that a lot of people envy because it's a steady stream of income all the way through retirement. Now, a lot of companies have gotten away from this, but if you served in the military, first of all, thank you. But you may have a pension if you worked for a government job or a local municipality. Different companies also have pensions. You've got to figure out what you're going to do. And there's going to be multiple options for the pension when you go to retire. You can oftentimes, for most companies, you can actually take it all as a lump sum, or you could take it and just have it pay you. Or if you're married or you want to leave it to somebody else, potentially if they allow it to be to just somebody else directly. Oftentimes they require you to be married, but if you're married, they're going to say, well, you could, take a lot less and also provide fully for the spouse, or you could maybe even just take a sliver less and your spouse will get some, but maybe it's only 75% of what you're going to get. Every pension is a little bit different. But when it comes to the pension, the problem that I see are three big things that I really want to focus on today. And the first one is something that when I'm looking at pensions, I'm looking at, well, what are you doing if you're retiring for liquidity? A lot of people have all of these goals that they have in mind when they're retiring, and they say, we want to take this massive trip. And that's fine. You've done it your whole life. You've had a steady paycheck coming in. That's what the pension's going to be. But you are retired. You want to have those years where you're living a little bit and you're not throwing it all on credit card, because that's the worst advice, especially right now with interest rates. And so, if you need to do a car purchase, a vacation, a massive home repair, or you're just looking to relocate, you've got to think a lot differently when you have a pension. So you've really got to figure out what you are going to do. If you are still working and have a pension that you are going to get, start thinking through the options. Oftentimes you have a TSP or a 457 or potentially another type of savings account. Start building liquidity in these types of accounts so that you do have a slush fund, so that when you retire, if you're just living on the steady money, but then you say, all right, let's go buy the car, you've got the money to buy the car. Or if you want to do the home repair, you've got the money there. So make sure you focus on liquidity, building that for the retirement years. Another one is converting dollars with a pension. So if you have a pension, you've got to really start to think through, again, you're going to have steady income. In a federal tax bracket, this is a scenario, it may not be your scenario, but let's just say you retire at age 62. Well, if you look at this scenario right here, you're going to have some ups and down years when it comes to your pension, because it's not actually your pension, it's actually just your tax bracket, because they're actually making some purchases through retirement. Let's say they're buying a car here, they're buying another one here, maybe they have long-term care that they're self-funding for here. So they're pulling from some other assets. That's what this map is showing me. But they do have, generally speaking, a pretty steady tax bracket. Versus if you are in retirement and you don't have a pension, oftentimes you're going to, let's say, spend down your pre-tax accounts first, and then maybe you're getting into your Roth accounts later on in life. You're going to have some various things, but on the right side, it is a different look, because it's looking at, well, maybe there's going to be some times when it makes sense to just convert money. And unfortunately, with a pension, though, if we're looking at the left side here, what's going to happen there is if you have a steady income and you don't consider Roth accounts and you don't consider things, eventually you've got this little thing called RMDs that are going to come into play. And if you have a steady pension, you don't need the money, and you haven't done the proper tax planning, then the RMDs are going to definitely hurt you on the long term, because the RMDs are something the government's going to require you to take. You have this steady income with a pension. Now you have Social Security, and then you're going to have to take money whether you need it or not, and it's going to bump you into even higher tax brackets. So it's one to really think through when it comes to long-term planning if you are going to have a pension. And the third one that I want to talk through, now there's plenty of others that could be talked about, but this is one that I really want to focus on, and that is an untimely death. How are you setting up your pension if you have somebody, a significant other, a spouse that you are leaving the pension to? If you're getting that, what does that look like? So in this scenario specifically, I took a client. We said, you know what? We're going to have their pension, and this pension, they work for the government. The spouse is going to get 55%. But if we said, okay, well, guess what? The person dies at age 70. They're currently 62. Look what happens here on the left side. They drop down to a 63% probability of success and potentially having $500,000 remaining versus over $2 million here, whether that be for inheritance or just a buffer just to make sure you're getting through retirement. That's something that you want to think through with this pension as well, because pensions, if you're wanting to say, well, you know what, I'm just going to take it for me and I'm going to figure out something else for my spouse, that, is not always the best plan. And so really think through this, figure out what is going to be best in your scenario. Make sure you're meeting with a planner. If you're looking for one, I know where to find a good one. Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about Jazz Wealth and how we can help as fiduciary advisors, go to jazzwealth.com. If you want more educational content, be sure to check out our videos here.